You know, self-doubt is one of the most silent killers in life. It's not loud like failure. It's not dramatic like heartbreak. It's quiet. It sits in the back of your mind like a whisper, slowly convincing you that you're not enough. Until one day, you start believing it. And here's the truth most people don't want to face. Self-doubt doesn't just show up out of nowhere. It's planted. It's nurtured. And for years, it grows silently inside you. Think back to when you were a child. Remember how fearless you were? You didn't care how you looked. You didn't care if you made mistakes. You just tried. You fell, you got up, you laughed, you ran again. But somewhere along the way, the world started teaching you to be afraid. Maybe it was that day in school when you raised your hand, gave the wrong answer, and everyone laughed. Maybe it was when you shared a dream with someone close to you, and they looked at you as if you were insane. Maybe it was when you failed at something you truly cared about, and in that moment, you didn't just lose the opportunity, you lost a little bit of yourself. And from there, self-doubt began to grow, like a shadow that followed you into adulthood. It whispered in moments you needed courage the most. What if you fail? What if people laugh at you again? What if you're not cut out for this? You see, self-doubt is a liar, but it's a liar that uses the truth against you. It takes your past failures, your embarrassing moments, your weaknesses, and magnifies them until you can't see your strengths anymore. It convinces you that playing small is safe, that staying quiet is smart, that waiting for the right time is the wise thing to do. But deep down, you know the truth. The right time never comes. The perfect moment never arrives. Let me tell you something powerful. Self-doubt is nothing more than a bad program running in your mind. And like any bad program, it can be rewritten. But before you rewrite it, you need to understand where it came from. Maybe your parents compared you to others. Maybe your friends mocked your ambitions. Maybe a boss once told you, "You're not leadership material." And without realizing it, you carried those words like they were a prophecy. I've seen people in their 40s still living under the weight of a teacher's comment from high school. I've seen brilliant, talented people give up on their dreams because someone told them, "You're not good enough," once, decades ago. That's the power of planted doubt. It doesn't just make you hesitate. It makes you hand over the keys to your own life. But here's the part they never tell you. Every single voice of doubt in your head is borrowed. It's not yours. It's the echo of someone else's fear, someone else's insecurity, someone else's failure projected onto you. And when you understand that, when you truly realize this isn't my voice, this isn't my truth, you take back control. You start to see that self-doubt is not proof of weakness. It's proof you've been programmed to question yourself. And once you see the program, you can change it. The first step, awareness. You have to catch the doubt in the act. When you hear that voice saying, "You can't do this," pause. Ask yourself, is this fact or is this fear? Because 99% of the time, it's fear disguised as logic. The second step, replace it. Don't just push the doubt away. Replace it with a stronger voice. If your doubt says, "You failed before," you tell yourself, "Yes, but I got back up every single time." If it says, "You're not ready," you answer, "No one is ever fully ready. I'll figure it out as I go." This is how you start building a new inner dialogue. Listen, you are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the opinions of people who couldn't see your potential. You are the person who gets to decide what happens next. I don't care how many times you failed. I don't care who doubted you. I don't care what you've lost. If you're breathing, you still have chapters to write. So here's your challenge. Today, I want you to trace your self-doubt back to its root. Find the moment it started. Was it one person's comment? One bad experience? One painful failure? Find it, and then realize that moment is over. It's gone. It doesn't have the power to define you unless you keep giving it permission. Stop carrying a shadow that doesn't belong to you. Stop living under a sentence that was never yours to serve. Because when you understand the root of your self-doubt, you can finally start pulling it out. And when that root is gone, your life opens up. Your vision becomes clear, and you start stepping into a version of yourself that was always there, but buried under years of what if I'm not enough. Today is the day you tell that voice, I hear you, but I'm done listening. Self-doubt doesn't just make you hesitate. It's not just that I'm not sure feeling before you make a decision. No, it's far more dangerous than that. Because self-doubt has a price tag, and the currency it takes from you is your life. Let me explain. Every time you doubt yourself, you make a choice. And that choice is almost always the safer one, the comfortable one, the smaller one. You don't speak up in the meeting. You don't apply for the promotion. You don't start that business. You don't tell that person how you really feel. And every time you hold back, you pay a price. A piece of your potential gone. Here's the thing. Life doesn't punish you with obvious pain for doubting yourself. It punishes you quietly with regret. Regret for the things you could have done, the places you could have gone, the person you could have become, if only you had believed in yourself enough to try. I've met people in their 60s, 70s, and when they talk about their lives, it's not their failures that make their voice crack. It's the opportunities they didn't take, the times they said no when their heart was screaming yes, the moments they let fear write their story instead of courage. And here's the cruel part. Self-doubt is sneaky. It doesn't always feel like fear. Sometimes it dresses up as logic or realism. You tell yourself, it's probably not the right time. I need more experience. I'll wait until I'm more ready. But the truth? Those are just elegant lies you tell yourself so you don't have to face the risk of failing. The cost of those lies is massive. Lost time. You can make money back. You can rebuild a business. But you can never buy back the years you spent doubting yourself. Lost opportunities. The job, the relationship, the adventure you didn't take because you convinced yourself you weren't enough. Think about how many what-if moments are hiding in your past right now. What if you had taken that chance? What if you had made that call? What if you had started when you first had the idea? Do you realize how much further ahead you'd be? Self-doubt is a thief. It doesn't just steal your today, it steals your future. And the most dangerous part is you're the one handing it the keys. And it's not just about career or money. Self-doubt damages your relationships too. When you doubt yourself, you tolerate less than you deserve. You settle for friendships that drain you. You stay in relationships that make you feel small. Because deep down, you believe this is probably the best I can get. That's not love. That's fear, disguised as acceptance. Self-doubt also robs you of your voice. You stop expressing your real opinions. You water yourself down so you won't be judged. And little by little, you stop recognizing the person in the mirror. And here's something that will hit you hard. You're not just paying the cost alone. The world is paying it too. Because every time you hold back your ideas, your talents, your unique perspective, the rest of us lose out on what you could have created. Every invention, every business, every work of art, every world-changing movement, they all started with someone who had a choice: believe in themselves or doubt themselves. The ones who doubted themselves never built anything. The ones who believed changed the world. So I need you to see this clearly. Every time you give in to self-doubt, you're not just losing an opportunity, you're shaping a future where the best version of you never existed. That's the real cost. The dreams you bury today will become your ghosts tomorrow. They will follow you, whispering "what if" for the rest of your life, and you can't outrun them. Not unless you act now. So here's the question. How many more years are you willing to pay the price? How many more dreams are you willing to sacrifice on the altar of "I'm not ready"? How many more times are you going to give your life away to the quiet thief in your mind? Because here's the reality. Self-doubt only wins when you stop fighting it. It only robs you when you hand it your wallet, your time, your heart, your courage. You have the power to stop paying. You have the power to say, enough. Your potential is expensive. Stop giving it away for free. If self-doubt is the disease, your triggers are the infection points. These are the moments, the situations, the environments, and sometimes the people that light the match and set the fire of insecurity in your mind. And here's what most people get wrong. They think self-doubt just shows up randomly, but it doesn't. It's predictable. It's a pattern. And if you can spot that pattern, you can break it. Let's talk about it. The people who trigger your doubt. We all have them. That friend who always turns your achievements into jokes. That family member who makes you feel small, no matter how big your win is. That coworker who loves to subtly remind you of your mistakes. Some people aren't happy unless you're doubting yourself, because your confidence threatens their comfort. The moment you start believing in yourself, you break free from the box they've kept you in, and they can't stand it. So they plant seeds. Are you sure you can do that? Don't get your hopes up. Maybe you should aim for something smaller. These are not harmless comments. They are poison. And if you don't learn to spot them, you'll drink it every time without realizing you're killing your own belief. The situations that trigger your doubt. Maybe it's speaking in front of people. Maybe it's posting your work online. Maybe it's starting something new. These are moments when your brain digs up every past embarrassment, every failure, every criticism, and throws it in your face. Why? Because your brain is wired to keep you safe, and safe means staying in familiar territory. It will do anything to keep you from stepping outside the comfort zone. That's why every time you're about to level up, you suddenly hear a storm of what-if thoughts. What if I fail? What if I look stupid? What if people judge me? Here's the reality. Those situations aren't dangerous. They're just uncomfortable. And discomfort is not a threat. It's a signal that you're growing. The environments that trigger your doubt. Ever notice how your confidence changes depending on where you are? You can feel like a leader in one room and a nobody in another. Environments shape your self-image. If you're constantly in spaces where you're undervalued, unappreciated, or overlooked, your brain starts to believe that's your worth. But the moment you walk into a room that inspires you, challenges you, pushes you, your belief starts to rise. That's not a coincidence. That's the power of environment. So ask yourself, where do you spend most of your time? Do your surroundings remind you of your potential or your limitations? The modern trigger, social media. Let's be real. Social media is one of the biggest doubt factories in history. You scroll, and what do you see? Everyone's highlight reel. Their perfect bodies, perfect vacations, perfect careers. And suddenly, without even realizing it, you're comparing your behind the scenes to their best moments. You think, they're so far ahead of me. They've achieved more by 25 than I have in my whole life. They have something I don't. But you forget, you're not seeing the sleepless nights, the failures, the insecurities behind those posts. You're seeing a filtered fraction of the truth. Why identifying triggers matters. If you don't know what triggers your doubt, you will spend your whole life reacting instead of acting. You'll keep wondering, why do I always freeze in these situations? Why do I lose confidence around certain people? Why do I stop believing in myself after scrolling for 10 minutes? But when you can identify them, you take away their power. You can prepare for them. You can reframe them. You can walk into a trigger moment and say, I know what this is, and I'm not falling for it today. So here's what I want you to do tonight. Grab a notebook and write down every moment in the last month when you felt doubt take over. Write who was there. Write where you were. Write what you were doing. Look for the patterns, because the moment you see them, you can stop letting them control you. Remember, self-doubt is not random. It's trained, it's triggered. And the more you understand your triggers, the more you can disarm them before they even pull the trigger. Here's the truth most people never realize. The loudest voice in your life is the one no one else hears. It's not your parents. It's not your friends. It's not your boss, your partner, or even your critics. It's you. That running conversation inside your head, that's the voice that decides how far you'll go. The power of your inner voice. Every single day, from the moment you wake up, you're in a constant dialogue with yourself. The question is, what language are you speaking? When you make a mistake, do you tell yourself, I'm such an idiot, or that was a mistake, but I can fix it? When you see someone doing better than you, do you think, I'll never be like them, or if they can do it, so can I? Your inner voice is either a coach or a critic. It's either building you or breaking you. And here's what's wild. Most people don't even realize they're speaking to themselves like their own worst enemy. Where the negative dialogue comes from, that inner critic didn't appear out of thin air. It's built from every insult, every rejection, every moment someone told you you weren't good enough. It's the echoes of teachers, parents, friends, and even strangers who made you feel small. And because you heard it enough times, you started saying it to yourself. Think about that. The people who doubted you might not even be in your life anymore, but their voice is still alive in your head because you keep speaking it. Why you must rewrite it. If you talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself, would they still be your friend? Probably not. So why do you think it's okay to treat yourself with that kind of disrespect? Your mind listens to every word you say to it. Every time you say, I can't, your brain starts looking for proof. Every time you say, I'm not good enough, your brain filters out all the wins and only shows you the losses. But the same rule works in your favor. If you tell yourself, I can figure this out, your brain will start searching for solutions. If you say, I'm capable, your brain will dig up memories of times you succeeded. This isn't just positive thinking. This is rewiring your brain's operating system. How to rewrite your internal dialogue. Step 1. Catch the critic. You can't change what you don't notice. Start paying attention to your thoughts like you're eavesdropping on a conversation. The moment you hear yourself saying something negative, stop and say, would I say this to someone I love? If not, you don't say it to yourself. Step 2. Flip the script. When you catch a negative statement, rewrite it immediately. I can't do this becomes, I can figure this out. I'm not ready becomes, I'm getting ready as I go. I'm not enough becomes, I'm becoming more every day. Step 3. Install power phrases. Have a set of phrases ready that remind you of your strength. I've done hard things before. I can do them again. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to start. I belong in the rooms I walk into. Repeat them daily, not just when you feel doubt. Step 4. Speak like the person you want to be. If your goal is to become confident, start speaking to yourself like you are confident. Not someday, now. Because your brain doesn't work on reality. It works on repetition. The transformation that happens when you change your inner dialogue, you change the way you walk into rooms. You change the way you handle failure. You stop interpreting challenges as proof you're not enough and start seeing them as proof you're growing. You literally reprogram your mind to search for possibility instead of limitation. And when your mind believes in you, your actions follow. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, I want you to write down every negative thing you tell yourself and rewrite it in real time. Do this long enough and you'll notice something powerful. The critic in your head starts going quiet, and the coach starts speaking louder. Remember, you've been talking to yourself for your whole life. It's time you started speaking like someone worth believing in. Here's something most people never understand about confidence. It's not built in a single moment. It's not a lightning strike. It's not something you just wake up with one morning because you finally feel ready. Confidence is built like a wall, brick by brick, and those bricks are small wins. Why small wins matter more than big victories? We love the idea of the big breakthrough, the moment everything changes, the life-altering promotion, the viral video, the massive paycheck. But here's the truth. Big wins are rare, unpredictable, and often outside your control. Small wins, those are available every single day. And small wins have one superpower. They create proof. Proof that you can keep a promise to yourself. Proof that you can take action even when you don't feel ready. Proof that you're capable of moving forward, even if it's one step at a time. When your brain has proof, it has no choice but to believe in you. The science behind small wins. Your brain thrives on momentum. Every time you complete a task, even a small one, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of reward and motivation. This isn't just about feeling good. It's about wiring your brain to crave progress. So if you start your day by making your bed, finishing that workout, or sending that email you've been avoiding, you're not just being productive. You're literally building the foundation for self-belief. How to create a system of small wins. Step 1. Lower the starting point. Stop waiting to feel motivated for big leaps. If you want to write a book, start by writing 1 paragraph. If you want to get fit, start with 5 push-ups. If you want to start a business, start by brainstorming 1 product idea. Make the first step so small that your brain can't find an excuse not to do it. Step 2. Track the wins. We forget our progress because we don't record it. Keep a win list, a simple notebook or phone note where you write every small win, no matter how tiny. Didn't hit snooze this morning? Win. Chose water instead of soda? Win. Spoke up in a meeting when you usually stay silent? Win. Watch how the list grows. Watch how your brain starts seeing you as the kind of person who shows up. Step 3. Celebrate, don't dismiss. Here's the trap. You achieve something small and say, yeah, but it's not a big deal. Stop doing that. When you dismiss small wins, you kill the momentum they create. Celebrate them. Tell yourself, that's one more step toward who I'm becoming. Because confidence isn't built by the size of the step. It's built by the consistency of taking them. Step 4. Stack the wins. One small win leads to another. When you start with an easy victory, it creates a ripple effect. Make your bed. You feel organized. Feeling organized, you tackle that email. Email done, you finally start that project. That project, you end the day feeling accomplished. That's momentum. And momentum is how people go from feeling stuck to feeling unstoppable. The identity shift that happens. At first, small wins just feel like tasks. But over time, something shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to be disciplined and start seeing yourself as a disciplined person. And when your identity changes, your decisions change automatically. You no longer have to fight to take action because action becomes who you are. Why this destroys self-doubt. Self-doubt feeds on the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Small wins shrink that gap daily. They give you a constant reminder, I'm moving forward. And the more evidence you have that you're capable, the harder it becomes for self-doubt to survive. So here's your mission for the next week. Every morning, set one ridiculously small goal. Every night, write down every win, no matter how tiny. By the end of 7 days, you won't just feel more confident. You'll have physical proof that you're becoming the person you've always wanted to be. Remember, confidence isn't built in a day. It's built daily. Let's be real for a second. Your environment will make or break you. You can have the best goals, the best plans, the best intentions. But if you're surrounded by the wrong people, your belief will get drained faster than your phone battery at 1% with no charger in sight. The harsh truth about people and your potential. Not everyone wants to see you win. Some people love you as long as you stay the version of you they're comfortable with. The moment you start growing, they get uncomfortable. Why? Because your growth forces them to look at themselves. If you level up, they can no longer hide behind the excuse that it's impossible. Your progress becomes a mirror for their stagnation, and not everyone can handle the reflection. How people affect your self-belief. Your confidence isn't just shaped by what you tell yourself. It's shaped by what you hear from the people around you every day. If you're surrounded by dream killers who constantly say, "That's risky," "Are you sure you're good enough?" "Don't get your hopes up," then it's only a matter of time before those words become your inner voice. But if you're surrounded by people who say, "Go for it, you've got this, even if you fail, you'll learn something," you start seeing yourself through their belief in you, spotting the wrong people. The wrong people don't always come with warning labels. Sometimes they're friends, sometimes they're family, sometimes they even mean well. But here's the pattern. They downplay your wins. They highlight your mistakes. They talk more about why things won't work than how they could. You feel smaller after spending time with them. If every interaction leaves you doubting yourself, that's not just their personality, that's poison. Finding the right people. The right people are not just nice. They challenge you. They expect more from you. They push you to keep going when you want to quit. These are the people who celebrate your wins without jealousy, offer solutions instead of just criticism, remind you of your strength when you forget it yourself, make you feel bigger after spending time with them. The right people don't just believe in you, they make it hard for you to doubt yourself. How to upgrade your circle. Step 1. Audit your current environment. Take a hard look at the people you spend the most time with. Do they inspire you, or do they drain you? Write their names down. Next to each, put a plus if they lift you up, and a minus dot if they pull you down. That list will tell you everything you need to know. Step 2. Limit access. You don't have to cut people off completely, but you do have to control how much influence they have over you. If someone's energy is toxic, reduce the time and emotional space you give them. Step 3. Seek growth communities. Put yourself in rooms where ambition is normal. Join masterminds, online groups, classes, or events where people are chasing big goals. When you're surrounded by people aiming high, your own bar gets raised automatically. Step 4. Build 1 to 2 deep relationships. You don't need 50 cheerleaders. You need a couple of people who genuinely have your back. The ones you can call when you're doubting yourself, and they'll remind you exactly who you are. Why this changes everything. When you surround yourself with the right people, self-belief becomes less of a fight and more of a default setting. It's like swimming with the current instead of against it. You stop having to convince yourself you can do it because your environment keeps reinforcing that you can. And here's the real win. When you're in the right circle, your success stops being a lonely climb and becomes a shared journey. So here's the challenge for the week. Audit your circle. Reduce time with the doubters. Spend more time with the believers. Because the fastest way to change your life is to change who you spend it with. Remember, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You rise to the level of your environment. Failure. The word alone can make your stomach drop. It's the thing most people will do anything to avoid. They tiptoe through life, making only safe moves. And as a result, they never really live. But here's the truth no one tells you. Failure isn't the opposite of success. Failure is the path to success. The fear that paralyzes most people. We're taught to fear failure like it's some permanent stain on our record. In school, one bad grade stays on your report card. At work, one mistake might be brought up for years. In relationships, one wrong move can become your reputation. So, you start playing small. You choose the easy option. You aim lower so you're less likely to miss. And the cost? You rob yourself of the very experiences that build your belief in yourself. What failure actually means? Failure is just feedback. It's your life saying, "Not that way, try another." It's proof you were brave enough to step into the arena. Think about it. The most successful people on earth aren't the ones who avoided failure. They're the ones who learned how to mine gold from it. Thomas Edison didn't fail 1,000 times to invent the light bulb. He discovered 1,000 ways that didn't work. Michael Jordan missed over 9,000 shots in his career and says that's exactly why he succeeded. They didn't let failure define them. They let it refine them. Why failure builds self-belief? When you fail and survive, your brain learns something powerful. I can handle it. That's where real confidence comes from. Not from never falling, but from proving you can get back up every time you do. You stop fearing the unknown because you know, even if it doesn't work out, you'll figure it out. How to turn failure into fuel. Step 1. Redefine the word. Stop calling it failure. Call it a test. Call it data. Call it a rep, because that's what it is. Every attempt is just another rep in building your skill and resilience. Step 2. Extract the lesson. Every failure contains information. Ask yourself, what actually went wrong? What can I control next time? What skill do I need to build? Write it down, because lessons unrecorded are lessons forgotten. Step 3. Shorten the bounce back time. Most people make a mistake and then disappear for weeks, months, or even years before trying again. The key is to take the next step immediately. Get back into action before fear can set up camp in your mind. Step 4. Build a failure log. Yes, you read that right. Instead of hiding your mistakes, track them. Every entry should have what you tried, what happened, what you learned. When you look back after a year, you won't see shame. You'll see growth. The emotional shift that happens. Once you stop fearing failure, it loses all its power over you. You start taking bolder shots. You start chasing bigger dreams. You stop worrying about what if I fall and start thinking, what if I fly? And ironically, the more willing you are to fail, the less you actually do, because you're learning and improving so fast. So here's a challenge. For the next 30 days, pick one thing you've been avoiding because you're scared to fail, and do it anyway. When it doesn't go perfectly, and it won't, write down what you learned and go again. Because in the end, the people who win in life aren't the ones who avoided failure. They're the ones who collected it like currency and spent it to buy their freedom. Remember, every failure is just another step closer to the version of you who no longer doubts what they're capable of. Here's something most people don't realize. Confidence is not an emotion you wait to feel. It's a muscle you train. And just like in the gym, you don't build muscle by lifting something heavy once in a while. You build it by showing up every single day. Why habits matter more than motivation? Motivation is like a friend who shows up when it's convenient. Some days it's there, most days it's not. If your confidence depends on motivation, you'll spend your life in a stop-start cycle. On fire one week, burnt out the next. Habits are different. Habits are there whether you feel like it or not. And over time, your habits start shaping your identity. And that identity becomes the foundation of your self-belief. The link between habits and self-belief. Every time you keep a habit, you're sending yourself a message. I can trust me. Think about it. If you say, I'm going to work out, and you actually do, you're proving to yourself that your word means something. But if you constantly break promises to yourself, even in small ways, you train your brain to doubt you. Confidence is really just self-trust. And self-trust is built one kept promise at a time. The automatic confidence effect. When good habits are automatic, you don't have to battle self-doubt every time you take action. You're not debating whether to do the thing. You just do it. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't need a pep talk to do it. You just do it because it's part of who you are. Imagine if eating well, moving your body, reading, or working on your goals felt that natural. That's what habits give you. Freedom from the mental fight. The 4 daily habits that build unshakable confidence. 1. Morning wins. Start your day with a small, intentional action that makes you feel in control. Making your bed, drinking water, meditating, journaling. It's a signal to your brain. I'm in charge today. 2. Move your body. It's not just about fitness. Movement literally changes your brain chemistry. You release endorphins, lower stress, and physically feel more capable. 3. Learn something daily. Read, listen to a podcast, take a course. The more you grow your knowledge, the more competent you feel. And competence fuels confidence. 4. End of day reflection. Before bed, write down your wins. No matter how small, it locks in the proof that you're showing up for yourself. Making habits stick. Start ridiculously small. If you try to overhaul your life overnight, you'll burn out. Begin with one habit so easy you can't talk yourself out of it. Stack it onto something you already do. Tie a new habit to an existing one. Drink a glass of water right after brushing your teeth. Write your wins right after dinner. Track and celebrate. Use a calendar or habit tracker to mark every day you show up. Seeing the streak grow is its own motivation. Why this works against self-doubt? Self-doubt thrives in uncertainty. Habits create certainty. When your actions are on autopilot, you don't leave room for that little voice that says, "Are you sure you can do this?" Because by the time doubt speaks up, you've already done the thing. So here's your challenge for this week. Pick one confidence-building habit and commit to it for the next 7 days. No excuses. Watch what happens to your self-belief when you realize you can follow through. Remember, confidence isn't built in the moment you need it. It's built in the daily moments when no one's watching. Gratitude. It sounds soft, right? Like something you scribble in a pretty journal when life is already going well. But here's the thing most people miss. Gratitude isn't about ignoring your problems. It's about rewiring your brain so you stop living in them. And when you stop living in your problems, you make room for solutions, opportunities, and confidence to actually grow. Why gratitude is a confidence weapon. Self-doubt thrives in scarcity thinking. The belief that you don't have enough, aren't enough, or can't get enough. Gratitude destroys scarcity thinking. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's working, from what you can't control to what you can. When your brain is trained to spot the good, it becomes harder to believe the lie that you're failing or behind in life. The science behind it. Studies show that practicing gratitude regularly literally changes your brain chemistry. It increases dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals. It strengthens neural pathways that make optimism your default. And when optimism is your default, self-doubt struggles to survive. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel better, it makes you think better. What gratitude looks like in real life. It's not just saying thanks when something good happens. It's actively searching for what's going right, even on bad days. Examples. Instead of "I'm stuck in traffic," I have a car and time to listen to that podcast I've been putting off. Instead of "I didn't hit my goal," I learned 3 things this month that will make me better next month. Instead of "I'm not where I want to be," I'm further along than I was a year ago. Gratitude flips the script from victim to empowered, and that shift fuels action. How to build a gratitude habit that actually works. 1. Morning reset. Before you check your phone, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Make them specific. The more detail, the more your brain connects to the feeling. 2. Gratitude reframes. Whenever you catch yourself complaining, stop and find one thing in the situation to be grateful for. It's a mental workout. And like all workouts, it gets easier with reps. 3. The who, not just what. Rule. Don't just be grateful for things, be grateful for people. Text one person a day to tell them you appreciate them. Not only will it boost your mood, it strengthens connections that fuel your self-belief. 4. Nightly wins list. Before bed, list the best thing that happened today, even if it's small. It ends your day on a positive loop and programs your mind to expect more wins tomorrow. The gratitude confidence loop. Here's the magic. The more you practice gratitude, the more you notice progress. The more you notice progress, the more confident you feel. The more confident you feel, the more action you take. And the more action you take, the more things you have to be grateful for. It becomes a self-feeding cycle, one that makes self-doubt run out of oxygen. So here's your challenge. For the next 14 days, start and end every day with 3 specific things you are grateful for. Watch how your brain starts scanning for wins instead of problems. Because when you focus on what's working, you naturally start believing you're someone who can make things work. Here's the thing about life. You can't become what you can't imagine. If your self-image is foggy, your future will be too. But when you create a crystal clear mental picture of the person you want to be, how they think, how they move, what they do every day, you give your brain a GPS coordinate to aim for. And once your brain has a destination, your actions start lining up with it, often without you even realizing it. Why visualization works? Your brain doesn't fully distinguish between a vividly imagined event and a real one. That's why athletes mentally rehearse winning games, and top performers visualize delivering perfect presentations before they even walk on stage. When you repeatedly visualize yourself succeeding, you create mental proof that it's possible. And that proof chips away at self-doubt until belief takes its place. The danger of neglecting visualization. If you don't consciously create your mental image of your future self, your mind will default to your current limitations. That's why so many people repeat the same year of their life over and over. Not because they can't change, but because they can't see themselves any differently. Designing your best future self. 1. Get ridiculously specific. Don't just think, I want to be confident. Picture it. What's your posture like? How do you walk into a room? What's the first thing people notice about you? What habits are automatic for you? 2. Use all your senses. See what you're wearing. Hear how your voice sounds when you speak with certainty. Feel the handshake, the eye contact, the ease in your body. The more vivid the picture, the more real it becomes. 3. Script your day. Write out what a perfect day in your best self's life looks like, hour by hour. When you do this, you start spotting small changes you can make now to bridge the gap. Daily visualization ritual. Morning. Spend 2 to 3 minutes picturing your best self living the day ahead. See them facing challenges with ease, speaking up, making progress. Night. Replay your day as if you lived it as that best self, even if you didn't. This reinforces the identity you're building. Why this ends self-doubt? When you've lived as your best self hundreds of times in your mind, stepping into that version in real life feels natural. There's no awkward leap, just a gradual merging between who you were and who you decided to become. So here's your challenge. For the next 21 days, start your morning with 3 minutes of vivid visualization. Don't just see the life you want. Feel it, hear it, own it. Then take one action that your future self would take right now. Because the truth is, your best future self isn't waiting for someday. They're waiting for you to start showing up today.